Hello everyone and welcome back to Badminton Weekly with me, Jasmine Lim. In the previous episode, we went through the Group A's and B's of the TotalEnergies BWF Thomas and Uber Cup finals. And so today, you guessed it, we'll continue our build-up to the prestigious tournament with the remaining groups. Now, Group C of the Thomas Cup has widely been deemed the group of death by fans, with defending champions India, as well as powerhouses Indonesia, Thailand, and England all drawn together. Let's check in with our expert Jeff though to see if he shares the same sentiments and if India has a good chance of repeating their feat.
I absolutely agree that the Group C of the Thomas Cup is the group of death. In comparison to the other groups, this is probably not a group that you would want to be drawn into. So we have Indonesia, they're the top seed of Group C, and they're no newbie in Thomas Cup finals. Indonesia are the most successful team in the tournament's history with 14 titles, and their last title was in 2020. So in my opinion, while I think that Thailand and England can put up a fight, they probably don't have quite the depth of players to challenge Indonesia and India. So I do think in that Group C, in the group of death, I think that the blockbuster tie will definitely be between Indonesia and India. I do definitely think that India has a good chance of defending their title, but it will require all of the best players to be at the top of their game. So Ranki Reddy and Shetty in men's doubles, they need to keep up their form, because I think that for the Indian team to have a chance of winning ties against Indonesia, China, Japan and Denmark, they must win their match for India. Then in the men's singles event, HS Pranoy and Laksha Sen, they both need to win their matches to lock in 3 matches to win the tie for India. But if they don't win their matches, Srikanth Kindambi, if he's playing well, he can win that third men's singles match if he plays, but I think that's a little bit less predictable and a harder task. Of course, I can't predict the future and anything can happen, but I don't think that India can rely on their second men's doubles to win against the top countries, so it's really important that those top players win their matches. The Indonesians' form in both men's singles and men's doubles is very promising leading into the Thomas Cup, and I do think that they are peaking at the right time. We know that the strength of Indonesia's men's doubles team is really, really strong. So they have 4 pairs in the top 20 at the moment. And then in men's singles, Indonesia have both the All-England champion and the All-England runners-up. So that's Jonathan Christie, who beat Anthony Ginting, his teammate. So I think that from that perspective, they're in very good form. And then we also have Dwi Wardoyo, which is the 3rd ranked men's singles player from Indonesia. He has beaten top players, so he has beaten Kodai Naroka and Anders Antonsen just last month in the French Open. So I think that he is a very strong player for Indonesia in that 3rd men's singles match. Now, having said all that, the Indonesians themselves appear quite confident. Here's Fikri and Mulana sharing just how much.
Drawnya cukup menarik, ya negara lain pun pemainnya bagus-bagus, ya kita yakinlah sama tim Indonesia. Tetap semangat dan selalu berjuang untuk tim Indonesia di Thomas Cup nanti. Semoga bisa juara. Pantang menyerah.
The last group of the Thomas Cup, Group D, sees 5-time winners Malaysia drawn alongside European champions Denmark, Hong Kong, China and Algeria. Now, there were some uncertainties when it came to Malaysia's final team selection, like the speculation of Lee Zizia opting to sit out the tournament and questions surrounding Ng Ziyong's fitness. Despite both being named in the team when it was first announced, Ng has now been omitted from the squad as he faces yet another setback to his recovery. In a post by Badminton Association of Malaysia, which says, Ziyong will be replaced by Chung Hon Tien for the Thomas Cup. Chung will be joining the national team in centralized training with immediate effect. So with this in mind, what are Malaysia's odds of advancing beyond the first stage, and how might Group D unfold? Here is former world number 1 Peter Gator with his thoughts.
Well, I think Group D might be the only group where I see a 3rd team being able to contend the kind of 2 top teams. In this group, the 2 top teams will of course be Malaysia and Denmark. But I see Hong Kong having some opportunities, and I think especially against also against Malaysia. I think they, on a good day, they could be able to do some damage. And I don't see Algeria as being able to compete on this level with the three other teams. So we kind of have one of the most exciting groups as an outset. I still see Malaysia and Denmark as favorites, but Hong Kong is an outsider in this group. The key for Hong Kong to perform is definitely the men's singles. They have to win at least two of these against Malaysia or Denmark, and then they will see what they are able to do in the men's doubles. Let's see how they could choose to team up some of them and find some combinations that we haven't seen before, and that would be a new thing also for Malaysia and Denmark to compete against these pairs. But we'll see how they're gonna handle this situation. But they could do different options. I think that we have to be honest, and when we look at the Malaysian team, there's no doubt that they have, both in the doubles and the singles, they have really talented players that on a good day they can do magic. But we also know that they have been a bit unstable in their performances for the past long time, I think, both the doubles and the singles. So I think it's a matter of Malaysia pulling out some of the magic that they have shown in the past in Thomas Cup. For me, actually growing up, and Thomas Cup was a huge inspiration for me, and especially matches that were played in Kuala Lumpur with the Malaysian team in front of thousands of spectators. My own experience playing in 2000 in Kuala Lumpur. So there's no doubt that Thomas Cup is huge for Malaysia, and I think they need to pull out this motivation, inspiration, and then work as a team. And then find these three matches in any given against any given opponent, because that's what this is all about. If I have to look at Malaysia's chances with Lee Sudirman, you know, they need him to be part of this team in the singles. I think they are capable on a good day to beat everyone. So it's a dangerous team. It's a team that we have to see all of them perform at the highest level on the specific day, but I definitely think they have huge possibilities with Lee Sudirman in the team.
Shifting our attention to the Uber Cup, Group C features Japan, Indonesia, Hong Kong, China, and debutants Uganda. Now, we could witness a potential blockbuster when Japan takes on Indonesia if their respective number ones, Akane Yamaguchi and Gregoria Mariska Tunjung, go head-to-head, where recent matches between the pair have been incredibly close. Let's hear from Peter once more as he shares his thoughts on who might emerge victorious if the showdown plays out in Chengdu.
Well, it's difficult to say because I think both of them can feel the number of tournaments. We saw here in Asia Games that Yamaguchi lost in the quarterfinal, I think, against Hebing Zhao. It's not many times she loses before the semi-final or final. So maybe she can also feel physically, energy-wise, the number of tournaments and the schedule. Tunjung, we have seen in this year, I think we've seen progress and the development in her game, being able to challenge the top 4-5 even more than she did in the past. She's a game player, she's a match player. She has a good day, she can do really high level stuff. We all know what Thomas and Uber Cup means for Indonesia, so I think she's going to be very dangerous in this. And then the other part in this is also the kind of circumstances with the stadium. Is it a slow stadium? Is it a fast one? And honestly, I think if it's the slow stadium, I would put Yamaguchi as the favorite. But I think that Tunjung's chances are better in a stadium where maybe there's more drift, maybe there's the speed of the shuttles is a bit faster. She can be very dangerous for Yamaguchi. Tunjung has got really technically she's really good. She's kind of taking the control in the games with her skills and her hand. I think she's got a very good hand. She wants to control and add the pressure, but I think where she had added a few extra percentage is also in her own defense, that she's able to follow more on the physical side, because in the past I think that was a challenge for her against the top 4-5, but now I think she's showing that her physical is improving, and if the physical can follow, then she has the ability to score against every player. So I think that's one of the key elements in this, and not only here for Thomas and Uber Cup, but also going towards Olympics. I think she can be a very dangerous outsider. I will still have my money on Yamaguchi. Yes, but it's also sometimes in the group matches it can be a little bit tricky. I know probably they both Japan and Indonesia, they want the best outset, like we going from the group as number one. But sometimes it can be a little bit tricky with some of these the group matches. So let's see what's happening.
Finally, in Group D of the Uber Cup, we have defending champions Korea alongside Denmark, USA and Mexico. Korea's title defense faces a setback with Kim Ga-eun sidelined due to a knee injury, but Singapore's Yeo Jia-min, who spent a couple of weeks at the end of 2023 training with the Korean team, recognizes they are still the team to beat.
Yeah, I think Korea has proven their strength in both the doubles and singles category so far. So I still do think that they stand quite a good chance. Definitely, of course, there's China and Japan and others that they have to overcome. But definitely, I think what stands out with them is also their camaraderie, their team spirit in the team. Whole structure is very much just all around badminton. They have sacrificed because they can't really go back home and things like that. So, rest, food, everything is all provided. So it's a very holistic program over there. You don't have to worry about anything. So you can just focus really 100% on training, course, their commitment to each training session, how they, come earlier to do things, extra things that they need individually, things like that. All makes their progress day by day, small steps into improvements. I think all this shows how the seniors and juniors, they motivate each other. I think it's something that we all can learn from, and it's what bring them to bring an even better level during team events, and I also want to see if they are able to do it again.
Now, before we go, let's look back at Korea's unforgettable journey in the 2022 Uber Cup and how special it is for their coaches Lee Kyung-won and Song Ji-hyun, who've incredibly now won the title as both players and coaches.
제가 선수 때 우승을 했을 때는 그때 제가 주장이었는데 정말 이걸 후배들의 이런 느낌을 느껴봤으면 좋겠다. 그게 평생 못 잊을 추억이라 너무 좋았는데 후배들이 이걸 느껴봤으면 좋겠다라는 얘기를 제가 그때 선수 때 당시에도 인터뷰를 했었어요. 이걸 우리 후배들 꼭 느껴봤으면 좋겠다 하고, 근데 제가 막상 지도자가 되니까 이게 혹시 아이들한테 부담이 될까 해서 되게 조심스러웠는데 오히려 선수들끼리 항상 자기들끼리 얘기를 하는 거예요. 우버컵 우승 한번 해보고 싶다. 단식 복식 선수들끼리도 사이가 좋지만 또 단식 선수들이랑도 굉장히 잘 친하거든요. 그래서 선수들끼리 그런 얘기를 할 때 되게 기분이 좋았었어요. 이거는 내가 얘기를 안 해도 이 아이들이 이렇게 간절하고 정말 정신이 되어 있구나. 배드민턴을, 한국 배드민턴의 그런 여자 배드민턴 자존심을 지키고자 하는 그런 것들이 있고 나서 되게 기분이 좋았는데,
그냥 제 개인적으로는 굉장히 그 우버컵 자체가 되게 큰 의미가 됐던 것 같아요, 저한테 있어서. 선수로서 우승도 하고 또 이제 지도자로서, 그러니까 선수로 있을 때 경원쌤하고도 경원 코치님하고 같이 선수로 활동을 해서 금메달을 땄는데, 또 지도자가 돼서 또 같은 지도자로서 경원 코치님하고 같이 이렇게 우승을 할 수 있었던 거에 대해서 되게 의미가 저 자신한테는 되게 큰 것 같아요.
We're all set for the TotalEnergies BWF Thomas and Uber Cup finals, and it's certainly shaping up to be a memorable one, with a couple of players making their final bow at the tournament. One of them being Kento Momota, who recently announced his retirement from international badminton at the back of this edition. No doubt an interesting 2 weeks awaits us in Chengdu, where we will be on site in the thick of the action to bring you the biggest stories and talking points. So let us know what you want to see firsthand. And in the meantime, don't forget you can always get the latest news updates from the BWF app Badminton for you. And let us know your thoughts, comments, and questions on our Facebook and YouTube pages. See you guys in Chengdu!